you guessed it, care.
If the men of America do not wake up.
For 700 years.
Masquerade themselves as a religion. It ain't a religion.
Before you teach a child about falsehoods, you have to teach them how to think.
Is a fascinatingly disgusting view.
The Islamic calendar does not begin when the first convert or when Islam first started, which was 610 AD in Mecca. The Islamic calendar begins after Muhammad made his hijrah from Mecca to Medina, and the violence started from 622 on. So what is happening today is that they realize by way of al-hijrah, migration, that they can come into Western civilization, masquerade themselves as a religion. It ain't a religion. Okay? Show me a religion that says that you should go out and take sex slaves of women after you've conquered them. Or some of the verses that I just read here. So their principle is first migration, population, agitation, then domination. Those are the four phases. Now ask yourself, where are we in the United States of America in those four phases? That's why you got to stop this. You know, a retired Army lieutenant colonel by the name of Brandon Shaw went back to his alma mater at Old Dominion University to teach Army ROTC. He was shot and killed while teaching Army ROTC by an individual who had sworn allegiance to ISIS. And somebody, again, with a stuck-on stupid card, released that individual early, quote-unquote supervised release, a felon, a naturalized citizen from Sierra Leone. They did not denaturalize him and deport him back. Somehow he ended up being able to purchase a weapon. He walked on that college campus into that room and shot Brandon Shaw. But thank God that those Army ROTC cadets do what they're supposed to do, and they beat him down and they killed him. This is what we are confronting. And if we don't understand what phase that we're in, because you look at the United Kingdom, they're almost in phase 4. Where are we when it comes to migrate, populate, agitate, dominate? We got to stop it. It's not a religion. It's a totalitarian, theocratic political system that is rooted in tyranny, and it says you either convert, you subjugate, or you die. That's in their own words. Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are for the first time, believe them.
Who knew there were phases to this whole thing? Hello, my friends. Welcome to the show. So glad you could be here today. Listen, today's show is going to be a little bit different than normal. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of talking, but we're going to be discussing this Islamic agenda we're seeing unfold in Europe. We're seeing it also take root here in America, where they embed themselves in the land, they obtain political power, which we're seeing all over the place. And then their ultimate goal, as we'll hear, is to replace the Constitution with the Quran and that also loving Sharia law. So let's get into it. Let's jump in to that liberal pool of madness right now. So sit back, relax, and buckle up. We're about to enter the Lib Zone.
Welcome to day 1 of a new series I will be doing, Things Muslims Don't Want You to Know Their Religion Calls on Them to Do. In today's episode, I will prove Islam wants to invade your country.
Islam will be in every household. Inshallah, the whole world is Muslim.
Aside from Muslims outright admitting it themselves, the key to understanding Islamic invasion comes from Muhammad's conquering of Medina. It happened in 3 different stages, and if you understand those stages, you'll see it happening around you in the world today. Step 1, the refugee. While Muhammad and his followers were facing persecution in Mecca, he got an invitation from a leader in Medina, a non-Muslim, to come and reside in Medina as refugees. So Muhammad, of course, obliged and moved many Muslims into Medina. Today, we see the same thing in Europe and parts of the United States, where Muslims come to our borders as refugees and are invited in by stupid, brain-dead politicians. Step 2, build influence. Once in Medina, Muhammad started building mosques, he started creating Muslim neighborhoods, he started converting citizens of Medina to Islam, he ousted other religions religious groups, and he grew their population substantially. Today in the West, you see this everywhere, especially in places like East London and Dearborn, Michigan, where there's mosques on every single street corner, blaring their calls to prayer, annoying non-Muslims in the area. There's areas that non-Muslims are not supposed to go, and the most common baby boy name is Muhammad. Step 3, taking over. They're not fully here yet, but they almost are. After establishing the Muslim population in Medina, Muhammad eventually took over political power. Aside from holding power himself, he made sure to appoint countless Muslims into positions of authority all over Medina. I again point to London and Dearborn, Michigan as my proof, because the mayor's names are Sadiq Khan and Abdullah Hamoud. I definitely don't think an elderly Michigani or English grandma would have voted for people with those names. Now, certain low IQ individuals or people in denial might be denying this 3-step plan, so I point to Lebanon as my proof. Many people don't know that Lebanon was once a majority Maronite Christian country, but because of mass migration from Palestinian refugees who have 1 billion kids per family, it is now a Muslim-ran country with Hezbollah, a terrorist organization, as their government. Now, let me ask you a question. As an American, I see that in places like Dearborn, Michigan, Muslim families are having a gazillion kids. So what is my country doing to combat this obvious plot to conquer our country through demographic change? I'll tell you, we're aborting 1.1 million babies every single year. We have to do something, or we're going to be like Lebanon and Medina before it.
You have to watch this. This is how it starts and how it grows.
Muhammad's 3 steps was immigrate, increase, eliminate. Immigrate as a religious refugee, increase the number of your followers and demand political accommodation, and then eliminate the previous culture. So I was speaking in Detroit area, and afterwards had people come up and visit around the book table, and they were telling me about a lady who had a ministry to pregnant mothers. So she shows up at a Muslim house, has a little present. Well, out of a bedroom comes another pregnant Muslim mom. Out of a bedroom comes another pregnant Muslim mom. Out of a bedroom comes another pregnant Muslim mom, all pregnant by the same man. He's practicing Sharia law in his house. And then someone else says, oh yeah, Fazil bought a bunch of houses on the street, has a wife in each one.
Where was this?
In Detroit area. The wives go down to the welfare office and say their husband's not around. He goes and visits them, and the more kids they have, the larger the checks get. And he's living like a king at state expense, and all the kids playing in the middle of the street are his children. He's practicing Sharia law on his block. They take over several more blocks, and they vote in the school board. And now they have their Sharia in the schools. And then they take over more blocks. They vote in the police department, fire department. And in Hamtramck, Detroit, they vote in the majority of the city council. They have their minarets, their calls to prayer 5 times a day, no different than Pakistan. So we see the first ones come in as immigrants, and they're nice, and they're so nice, everybody says they're nice, nothing to fear, let more in, more come in, they gravitate together, form a community. Imam shows up and says, okay, you need to start getting a little more serious about this, more fundamental. Then the burqas start appearing, people say the neighborhood's changing, they move out, more Muslims move in, and then there's always that stickler that says, I refuse to move out. And that's when there's random violence from Muslim youth. And there's no witnesses, because no Muslim family dare testify against another Muslim family on behalf of some kafir infidel that's hanging in the neighborhood. And so eventually they take over the entire neighborhood. And they do this neighborhood by neighborhood, city by city, block by block, until they take over countries. And there's 1,400 years of track record to observe this pattern. So they took over Egypt, which used to be Coptic Christian. They took over Syria, which used to be Christian. They took over all of Turkey, which used to be Christian. Took over all of North Africa, which used to be. They took Spain, held it for 700 years until the Spaniards drove them out.
Islam is the fastest growing religion in Texas, the United States, and in the world. My name is Inshira Dahir. I am a history major and a proud Palestinian American Muslim social studies teacher in Texas. I've taught elementary through high school students for almost 15 years. These children cannot yet distinguish a fact from an opinion, and we want to dump Al-Qaeda on 4th graders. Before you teach a child about falsehoods, you have to teach them how to think. And I'm going to say this straight up. The more you try to suppress and villainize Islam in the classroom, the more you are doing Islam a favor. Because right now, today on the ground, Islam is the fastest growing religion in Texas, the United States, and in the world. Suppression doesn't shrink a faith, it spreads it. And you are proving that in real time. I want to end with a dua. Oh Allah, make us among those who speak the truth and bear witness with justice. Amen.
Point of order.
What's your point of order?
It wasn't germane to the topic posted.
I believe the time's expired. Member Hall?
Yes, the last testifier. Yeah, it's not mentioned for any. You said it was for a political agenda that Al Qaeda is mentioned there. It's mentioned because Al Qaeda killed 3,000 Americans on 9/11, and many of our veterans, including our great chairman here, put their lives on the line fighting Al Qaeda in Afghanistan. So that's a big, significant part of American history. And you need to understand that as a teacher, and you also need to understand you can't come and threaten the State Board of Education that what we do here is going to grow your religion, because that's ridiculous. And you know what? You may have the wind at your back, but we serve the one true God, and it runs into a brick wall right here in the United States of America. Islam will not take over.
If you're new here, welcome to The Dave Show. And if this feels like your kind of daily therapy, hit subscribe. Come hang out with us. We're here Monday through Friday. All right, let's get on with the rest of the show.
There is an Islamic invasion happening in America right now, whether you see it or not. The mayor of New York City is a Muslim. The mayor of Dearborn, Michigan is a Muslim. The mayor of St. Louis Park is a Muslim. And the mayor candidate of Minneapolis is a Muslim. Islam for the last 1,400 years have never coexisted with any people, any color, any tribe. And I'm not just talking out of, what I'm educated on. I'm talking from experience. You see, I grew up in Egypt, and Egypt 1,400 years ago was a Christian country. We were 90% Christian 1,400 years ago until Islam came in our country. They conquered it. They burnt our churches, killed our men, raped the women, took the kids, and turned them Muslim. And now Egypt is 90% Muslim and 10% Christian. So I'm coming to you from the future to warn you that America might end up this way if the men of America do not wake up.
And I'm not sure what it's really going to take for people to start waking up and actually doing something about it.
America better wake up to the Islamic takeover of our country, because they are running for office and they are getting elected. There are roughly 25 Muslim mayors throughout America.
Wow.
There are about 235 Muslim elected officials at the state, local, and federal level. And just in 2025 alone, 42 additional Muslims were elected. And we have 4 current Muslim members of Congress. And these numbers are going to continue to grow because they get over here and the whole plan is to run for office and get elected and install Sharia law. We really need to put a stop to this, because if we don't, the Muslim Brotherhood plan to run for office and get all their candidates elected and take over our country is going to work.
Massachusetts is advancing the nation's first permanent taxpayer-funded state commission dedicated exclusively to one religion, Islam, with real power over government appointments. Senate Bill 2134 would create an 11-member panel of Muslims with the authority to recommend co-religionists for appointed positions across state government, research Islamophobia, and review hate crime laws. The bill was co-developed with Jetpack, a group whose mission is to build American Muslim political infrastructure, and strongly backed by, you guessed it, CARE. Again, CARE was named an unindicted co-conspirator in the Holy Land Foundation terrorism financing trial. The network around the bill includes organizations and individuals with documented ties to groups previously linked to Hamas financing and the Muslim Brotherhood. Taxpayer dollars would fund a permanent government body that no other religion receives. A Massachusetts court recently blocked Catholic statutes on public property, citing separation of church and state. Yet this single religion commission is moving forward. This is preferential treatment written into law. Equal protection means no religion gets a special pipeline into power funded by taxpayers. All eyes on Massachusetts.
I have no idea how this is even legal. And is it any surprise that the ACLU of Massachusetts hasn't said a word about this? But my goodness, they got their panties in a bunch when you try to erect 2 Christian statues of saints.
I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm getting real sick and tired of this little lady.
The idea that this is a white nation that needs to be preserved is a fascinatingly disgusting view, because this country is one for the many.
Let me tell you something, bitch. Nobody's saying America has to be one skin color, but every nation on earth has a culture worth protecting. Funny how preserving identity is beautiful everywhere else. Japan does it, Mexico does it, even Somalia does it. But when America does it, it's disgusting. This ain't about no race. You snuck into this country and now you're trying to erase standards and history. America is an idea. And ideas only survive when people are brave enough to stand up and defend it. If every nation deserves an identity, then why is America the exception? We're not just gonna let you come up in here and switch up the rules to benefit only your people. So listen up, America, I need you to listen good. We need to vote these people out of power. Because you see what they're starting to do. They're starting to talk mess. They think they're gonna take over something.
It's sad there's only one person there.
Stand tall, lady. Beautiful. Stand tall, lady. I'm so proud of you. Wow, look at this beautiful song.
Islamic Republic.
This is a one lady, but it's an army. Isn't beautiful? A lady became an army against Islam. Against Islam. Yes, we do have issue with Islam because what have done Islam with your life? Say it loud. Beautiful.
Fucked up my life.
Beautiful.
I don't even want to go to work today. They're trying to paint Dearborn. Elon Musk, he tweeted out or shared out this post trying to act like Muslims in Dearborn are like trying to take over the world or something. Like they're really trying to push out this message.
Yeah, it's called The Truth.
And I know that somebody is going to get out there. They're going to do something to people in Dearborn. And y'all are just trying to, like, this hate. It just makes me not even want to wear my hijab. And my son is in Dearborn right now. And I'm scared because why are y'all doing this? This is not... I'm trying to tell you guys, they're trying to get us attacked. They're trying to hurt us. They're trying to hurt people in Dearborn, and this is not. They're constantly trying to do that. There's going to be something. They're going to attack where people pray. I know this is what they're doing. Elon, this is what they want, and it's just so sad.
Go take your tears someplace else, lady, because, well, quite frankly, I didn't see a single one. But what is really sad is what we're about to hear.
والشهيد لما يستشهد يعني في مكتوب بالقرآن الكريم إنه حلوة تكون الشهادة اللي بشعرش في أي إشي لما هو حتى يفجر نفسه أو حتى إنه يطلقوا عليه رصاص أو إشي بالعكس بتكون بشعر بسعادة كتير يعني حلو بصير يتمنى.
If you let them to be in the power, you are done. You need to run. Absolutely fine. Oh, I just want to tell the truth about Iran. None of them have never been in Iran. I'm Persian. My mom, all my family, 99% of my family, they are still living in Iran. I've been here since I came here 7 years ago. And I know how the murderer regime killed all the people in Iran. And those useless idiots, they don't want to listen to us, to Persian people. You know why? Because they hate Israel. They know Khamenei hate Israel. That's why they love Khamenei. They don't care how Khamenei, less than 3 months ago, killed more than 50,000 people in 2 days. And I can see those people, they are holding the Khamenei picture in their hand, and they are not even Iranian.
Do you think Islamic extremism is on the streets of London?
Listen, they are controlling London. That's why we just try to help people in London. What you're seeing here now, we saw it 50 years ago. Now, we ask our grandfather, our parents, why you didn't say anything? And now I can see, because they've been drinking in the pub. They say, oh, diversity, oh, we need to respect, oh, we cannot divide. But in a minute, they get to the power, they force you to cover your hair.
Do you see London being under Sharia law?
Of course, it is. Of course, it is. It is by the Sadiq Khan, by Ayatollah Keir Starmer.
And you've lived under Islamic extremism, so you understand.
From London, I'm not living in London anymore because I wasn't safe. 2 days ago, they burned the car in North London because they hang the Persian flag. A few days back, they burned 4 ambulances in Golders Green because they've been for Jews. If you let them to be in the power, you are done. You need to run.
Hey everybody, I'm building a new little explainer channel called Doshte. where we answer seemingly simple questions like, why is the sky blue and not purple? Yeah, well, it's weirdly fun, and it helps the new channel a ton if you'd go watch one. And hey, look, if you like it, please subscribe. All right, let's get back to the rest of the show.
Probably somewhere around 5 million Muslims. And so, 3.5 million would ultimately make about 1%. So we're probably diving in and almost 2% of the US population is Muslim. But that number is going to escalate itself a lot faster than you think. And so this crazy shit is going to extrapolate itself rapidly because all of these kids now who are born here in America from these Islamics are going to grow up and they're going to have kids, and it's going to metastasize because they're going to be having 4 kids, 4 kids, 4 kids. So the importation in the immigration numbers is bad enough as it is, a couple 100,000 a year, but now we're going to start having a couple million born, okay? So we're going to have not only the importation through immigration, then we're going to have the explosion through these new births, and then the births of births, and then you've got the problem of the vulnerable Democrats and how it is that now they're going to be a transformed group.
Yeah, the DSA. It's already happening.
Here's what I mean. So when you put the math together, the immigration importation, the mass births in the Islamic American communities, and then the vulnerable Democrats who are going to make that conversion from being a Jew or being a Christian or being an atheist over to being an Islamic, we're fucked.
Yeah, we are, especially when you take the ladies on the left and all that suicidal empathy that's flowing through their veins. I don't see how we're not cooked.
I want to warn you right now. This video may be very disturbing to you. You are about to hear the mathematical eventuality of how your children, and absolutely how your grandchildren, will die. The Muslim population this country has exploded to 5 million. They have taken control of New York. They are commanded by their religion to kill all infidels. That is all non-Muslims. White, which is the majority of the United States, is non-Muslim. They are breeding at 6 times the rate Americans are. The following is a prediction by Grok when the month in population will overtake the American population. That is, when they will begin mass killings.
Growing 6 times faster than the 330 million slow ones. They double every 7 years or so. While the others barely budge, the fast group flips the numbers and takes the lead. They win in under 30 years.
It won't be a choice that you don't like Sharia law. They will simply make it the law of the land by popular election.
And here's Laura Loomer talking about if America does get in another civil war, well, it may not be what you think. Take a look.
You'll have millions of Muslim men, military-aged men who are able to, go to war. And if these people are citizens or they're able to become citizens and they're able to get access to firearms, right? That's even worse because then these people are going to be able to be armed and, whether or not they're legally armed or not, and they're able to get weapons from the stockpiles that, these mosques, 100%. I've spoken to a lot of different intel officers, right? FBI, CIA. They 100% know that these mosques are being used to stockpile weapons. Stockpiling grenades, stockpiling rifles, AR-15s, handguns, knives, you name it, explosives. I guarantee you go into any mosque in America and you were to rip up the floor panels or go into the safe room or go into the basement or go in the attic, you're going to find a stockpile of weapons. You are going to find weapons because that's what they're doing. They are preparing for war. This is what the Quran instructs them and teaches them to do. And people will say, oh my God, she sounds like batshit insane. What she's saying sounds absolutely insane. No, this is what they do. This is exactly what they do. And if you don't think that, if you just think that it's organic, that they're just running these Muslim candidates and they're trying to acquire political power in the swing states all across the country, on all sides of our country, and you haven't figured out yet that this isn't just an electoral strategy and a population replacement strategy, but it's also a warfare strategy, you better wake up. You better wake up, because you're going to wake up one day and you are going to be under attack, and it's going to hit you. It's just going to completely blindside you, or completely knock you over in shock and disbelief. And you are either going to survive or you are going to die, depending on whether or not you decide to take this threat seriously. I mean, Americans need to start stockpiling weapons. They need to start stockpiling ammunition. They need to start arming themselves, because we are going to have a war one way or another with these people. I'm telling you, if civil war breaks out in this country, it is going to be between the Muslim and the non-Muslim.
What we as Muslims want to implement here in the United States, we believe the Constitution should be replaced by the Quran.
First move that I will do, I will abolish the Constitution, and I will establish the only logical and rational Constitution, which is the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
When it comes to spreading Islam on a state level, on a societal level, that method prescribed is jihad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed that the ones who don't accept the ruling of Islam, they must be fought. This is simply the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Stories. Muslims openly say they will impose Sharia law in America through the ballot box or the bullet, with no middle ground, meaning you either vote Sharia in or they will kill you. Multiple speakers tied to Islamist networks, including the Muslim Brotherhood, have made the statements about taking over the United States by force.
I knew this day was going to come. You best believe, people, sooner than later, it will be a civil war. But it won't be a civil war between American Republicans and American Democrats. No, no, no. It's going to be a civil war between Christianity and whatever the hell they praise, okay? Donald Trump said weeks ago, and I genuinely believe this, that if Christians do not get involved with politics is going to erase their ability to be Christian. And that's exactly what's going on. That's exactly, you see, have you all ever asked the question of why a lot of these Democrat representatives and candidates and officials are foreigners? Like they're coming in from, look at Ilhan Omar. They are foreigners because the Democratic Party is as easy as one to include themselves in for the takeover. You see what's going on in UK. You see what's going on in Canada. It is Grand Theft Auto 5 over there. Something out of a horror film. But you want to know something? Here's what they don't know. Yeah, we got some Christians out there that are straight punks, unfortunately. But, oh, you got some Christians like me that is locked, loaded, and ready. Rockabye baby. Because one thing about Americans, we won't tolerate the shit that's going on over there in UK or in Canada. Oh, no, 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 no. If this was to ever happen, it'd be the first time you see a KKK member and a gangbanger riding on a horse, blasting mother.
America is falling right before our eyes. We're just watching it happen. Every time I turn the TV on, I see another one of the halal guys win a damn primary. I blame the black people, of course. You're always blaming black people. Of course you're going to blame the black. Yeah, I'm going to blame black people. Why? Because you hate white people so much you vote for anybody but a white person. Anybody but white. And then I can't stand the white liberals either. Because they hate America so much they'll put a terrorist in the office. That's the problem. It's the hatred for one another. Blacks, wake up already. You don't have a party. They replaced you. They got their voters. They don't need you. Why do I blame y'all? Because y'all are the ones asleep. If y'all would wake up and join us, we could defeat the white liberal together. But you're too damn stupid. You sleep. You'd rather hand the country over to Osama bin Laden than vote for a white conservative. You're the problem.
I highly doubt that you want to live in a country where politicians put their hand on the Quran and swear an oath to a system that has never produced a free society in its entire existence. I don't want people in government who look at 9/11 and somehow decide that we were the problem. I don't want Sharia creeping in under the banner of tolerance while the same people scream death to America like it's a fucking pep rally. You are either for this country or you're against it. There is no middle ground. Communists, socialists, and every other group out there chanting for the collapse of the United States will have no idea what they're playing with when the American people finally wake the fuck up, lock arms, and stop apologizing for existing. We built this shit. We bled for this shit. And we will not become strangers in our own house, just so some imported ideology can feel comfortable. So get your ass up and vote in the midterms. Not maybe, not if I have time. Show up. Vote against every single one of these people who treat American identity like it's optional. Make them hear it loud and clear and permanent.
And finally, my friends, I am not a professional bricklayer by any means. However, it seems like this fix is a little off. Take a look.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there should even have been a gap right there in the wall, but that's just me. Well, that's all the time I have today, my friends. Thank you for spending some of yours with me today. I do appreciate it. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, slap that bell so you're always notified. If you have an extra hype, I'll take it. And until the next episode, stay safe and have a great day.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear.